this man alive. To McGwire. Swing. Look at there. Look at there. Home run, McGwire. What a moment. Pardon me while I stand up and applaud.
Only 3 men in the history of Major League Baseball have hit 60 or more home runs in a season. Babe Ruth 60, Roger Maris 61, Mark McGwire 61.
Does it in any way feel like there's been this predetermined script? Your son Matt just gets here. It's your dad's birthday at 61. Now you've got a night to think about it. The world's had a night to think about it. It's your last night at home for a little while. I mean, it's crazy the way this thing's unfolding, isn't it?
You're right. You know, it's been like a fairy tale script. Third person in history hit 60. Babe Ruth wore number 3. I hit it on the third pitch. And then yesterday, my father's 61st birthday, hit my 61st home run. So if I'm lucky enough tonight to do it, it's for the best fans in the game of baseball, St. Louis fans.
Have you learned anything from watching Sammy and the way that he's dealt with everything?
To be honest with you, I think America's caught on with it, and they see how excited he is and how excited I am, and we're having fun doing it. And I think America's having fun. Everybody's watching, and it excites me, and I'm sure it excites you. And then, you know, yesterday I've seen highlights of the press conference. People like, look at these two guys. You know, they're competitors, and it's unusual that they're having fun. It's unusual. What do you mean? We're two human beings enjoying what we're doing, and they see what kind of person it is. They see what kind of person I am, and there you have it.
Along those lines, Sammy, I've had 100 comments to me. The neatest part about yesterday when Mac hit the home run was the shot of you in the outfield kind of giving it the fist pump. You truly were happy for him to hit the 61st, weren't you?
Definitely. I think that yesterday was one of the great moments that I had to say that Mark, everybody was waiting for that swing, and when he connect, was like, you know, my heart was one like this a couple of times, and I mean it. This is something that I'm never gonna forget, and I want like yes, you know, but I cannot show up too much because but really, I was real happy.
Along those lines, how special would it be to do it tonight with Sammy out in right field?
It'd be incredible. Like we're talking about, it'd be storybook, and I mean, I have the utmost respect for this man right here. I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't think people even begin to know what he and I have been going through, and I don't know. I mean, I know what I'm going through, and I know what he's going through, but to really sit down and let everything sink in, and if it was, God willing, happen tonight, I'd almost want to run out and give you a big hug on the outfield, you know? What do you think? Because if you're in the same spot, I'd do the same thing to you. Because when he said, you know, he's doing this, if he's in this spot, and he could be, you know, you don't know. He might hit 3 or 4 tonight. You have no idea what happened.
Oh, yeah,
I'll be the first one to do this. And
I'm coming.
I know you are. I know you are.
I know you are. Does that bother you at all? I mean, you're only 3 behind this guy. Yet,
no, well, one thing that I like is that every time Mark go to the home plate and he won, or I saw Mark on TV, he won, it's motivating me.
He drives me, I drive him. But you know what? It's the game of baseball. And
it's been
what a beautiful, very, very good to me.
It is role players in this drama that unfolds before us here tonight for the Cubs. Jim Riggleman has Lance Johnson in center, Jose Hernandez batting second at shortstop, Mark Grace hitting third at first base. We've already focused on McGwire. Don't forget, Sammy Sosa's only 3 home runs away from McGwire with 58. Glenn Allen Hill is in left field with Gary Gaetti, the former Cardinal, at third, Mickey Morandini at second, Scott Service is hitting 8th and catching and pitching. The man on the mound, Steve Traxel, will his name be indelibly marked in our memories after tonight's effort. The Cardinals defense, Mark McGwire, don't forget, an American League Gold Glove Award winner at first base with Oakland back in 1990. And the man to his right on the mound tonight for the Cardinals, left-hander, 30-year-old Kent Mercker. Maybe history tonight. McGwire, who is 0 for 1 tonight, his second at bat here in the fourth. We would like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Houston Astros and the Cincinnati Reds on our FX cable channel as Matt McGwire looks on, wondering if this is the at-bat. Tuesday, September 8th, that Mark McGwire moves one place in front of Roger Maris. Single-season home run king. Central Time, September 8th, 1998.
On your mark. Get set. Bang.
All my family, everybody. My son, Chicago Cubs, Sammy Sosa. Unbelievable. Claps. Thank you, St. Louis.
We would like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Houston Astros and the Cincinnati Reds on our FX cable channel as Matt McGwire looks on, wondering if this is the at-bat. Tuesday, September 8th, that Mark McGwire moves one place in front of Roger Maris. Down the left field line, is it enough? Gone! There it is! 62! Touch first, Mark. You are the new single-season home run king. couldn't happen to a better man. And you will always know where you were at 8:18 p.m. Central Time, September 8, 1998.
On your mark. Get set. Bang.
Mark was so happy, he had to remember to touch first base.
I'm not sure if his feet were touching the ground at that point.
McGwire, who started the season as Gary Gaetti's teammate. He's been with Rene Latchman over the years. A point to the sky, a hug from Scott Service, and the reaction from his longtime manager, Tony La Russa. Now to the Maris family.
Everybody, my son, Chicago Cubs, Sammy Sosa, unbelievable. Class. Thank you, St. Louis.
Well, we asked Mark McGwire before the game if he thought someplace there was a script written, and tonight was the night. And guys, a little sheepish smile crept onto his face. He didn't want to admit that he wanted it to happen tonight, but he said if it's to be, tonight is the night to do it here in St. Louis before these fans, before the road trip. Tonight is the night, Tuesday, September 8th, 1998.
I was not sure that the ball was going to have enough height to get over the wall. He hit it so hard that it could have gone through the wall. What a tracer.
Now Sosa. People cannot begin to imagine what those two have been through in 1998. Two men from completely opposite backgrounds joined in 1998 in the Roger Maris chase, and it's Mark McGwire who gets to the top of the mountain, home run number 62 in the Cardinals' 145th game of the year.
One of the interesting things about that home run is no fan had a chance to catch it because the ball wasn't hit up into the stands. It was hit into that area below the stands. One more look at the swing of Mark McGwire. Low fastball driven on a line. You can see that area right there underneath the sign where the batting cages used to be here at Busch Stadium. I believe that's an area where they store the batting practice equipment, the cages and what have you.
Right.
Very uncharacteristic Mark McGwire home run. Normally the towering shots that seem to hang in the air forever. That one happened so quickly the fans were stunned. Bob, it was almost like a Sammy Sosa home run. But again, so much made of the fan who's going to catch the ball, and now you have to wonder whether a fan was able to get to it and where the ball is. Sosa's salute to Big Mac. Man.
Here's the change on the scoreboard. Number 62 for Mark McGwire. And no one more than Mark McGwire, hopes that the attention this is focused on Roger Maris and his year of 1961 and his career. Roger Maris, a great player. No one hopes that all of this attention, no one hopes any more than Mark McGwire that this will put Roger Maris in his rightful place in baseball's Hall of Fame.
I could not agree with you more.
Major League Baseball had said that they did not want to, if Mark McGwire hit the home run, stop the game midstream, but we're finding out, Bob Brentley, that was an unrealistic expectation. It's impossible.
The best laid plans of all, you've heard that saying before. I mean, the emotion of the moment was entirely too much. I mean, how are you going to tell the all-time single-season home run leader, don't go over and hug the Marises. We got to keep the game moving. It's his show. Let him do what he wants.
Mark McGwire with that heart pounding at the end of the dugout. And the Macometer surfaces 62 and counting. You had a quick shot of John McGwire, Mark's father. His parents have been here tracking this over the past couple of days. There's John right in the middle on your left with a Cardinal hat on. And I said it as he came to the plate, guys. It seems like you throw this man a party night after night after night, and he delivers seemingly every time out. What an honor. What an honor. Back to baseball, if it's possible, as Ray Langford takes a breaking ball for a strike.
That's 15 home runs in his last 21 games.
A 10-minute delay after the home run from McGwire, and worth every single second of it. What an honor to be here, on hand to watch it.
What must be going through his mind right now?
2 out, nobody on, and Langford comes up empty, strike 2. Well, he was fully aware, if you read the quote in the paper, about his home run trot yesterday when he hit 61. He remembered the home run trot by Hank Aaron back in 1974 when he broke Babe Ruth's career home run total with number 715. He watched that as a young man, and now this 1998 season will be remembered as Mark McGwire's year. History made here tonight. St. Louis, Missouri at Busch Stadium. There is your new single-season home run champion, 62 and counting.
And Joe is down on the field right now. We're planning to have an interview with Mark McGwire. Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa will be talking to Joe Buck and Steve Lyons. Winning pitcher Kent Merker, his record 10 and 11. Losing pitcher Steve Traxel, his record 14 and 8. Joe talked about it earlier. For Steve Traxel, he will be forever remembered in baseball history as giving up Mark McGwire's 62nd home run, a solo shot here tonight. We're going to get one more look at the historic home run off the bat of Mark McGwire, as Tim mentioned and Joe earlier. An absolute laser beam to left field. The only question was, is it high enough to clear the fence? Obviously it was. I still love that shot. Dave McKay bringing McGwire back to make him touch first base because he was so happy and emotional he jumped over the bag. What a trip. Was Mark McGwire with a big hug to his son Matthew after crossing home plate, a hug for catcher Scott Service, a hug for the Maris family. You get the feeling Mark McGwire would have hugged every person in this stadium tonight if time allowed. back with his parents now. Enough emotions for you tonight, partner? Oh, man, I'll tell you. It's been hard to talk at times. Can only imagine the feelings that must be running through that young man right now. I think we're about to find out as we go down to Joe Buck and Mark McGwire on the field. Joseph?
All right, Tim, thank you very much. You've hugged everybody else, pal. I want one. Give me a hug. Congratulations. Congratulations, Ken. I know it's been difficult all year to describe what it's like for you to go through what you've been through. Can you describe the feeling of relief and how you feel right now after becoming the single-season home run champion?
I tell you what, I was so shocked because I didn't think the ball had enough to get out. And when I saw the ball leave, I looked up and Dave McKay was in my way, and I sort of missed first base. I had to come back and touch it. And then, I don't remember anything after that. And then I come in and everybody's hugging me, and I lift up my son, and I'm hugging, and I go over and talk to the Marises, and I just I was numb. And then I said, I still got to play the game, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. But it's an absolutely incredible feeling. It's I can honestly say I did it.
I want to say in front of the world, it has been such a pleasure watching you conduct yourself on the field and off the field. This is the headline, unbelievable class. He's in a class of his own on the field, and why don't I welcome in his parents right now, John and Ginger McGwire. You two ought to be awfully proud of the young man that you helped put together and give to the world. John, first can you describe what you're feeling tonight?
Ginger and I are deliriously happy over Mark's accomplishment. I mean, it's just phenomenal what he's achieved this year, starting with spring training and setting his mind to accomplish this goal. It's beyond our wildest dreams to be here tonight. Last night, he hit the 61st on my 61st birthday. Tonight, he hit his 62nd for the people of St. Louis, as he said. What a class act.
A class act. And Mom, I know you don't like this, but just a quick word about Mark and how proud you are.
It's just an incredible moment in the history of baseball, and I'm just so very proud of my son.
Thank you. Love you guys.
It just seems so unreal. Do you want to pitch me?
Yes, it's real. Congratulations. And for you, my friend, you realize, and this is the last question, I'll let you go, you realize what you have done for the game of baseball, don't you? You flung this game on your back, and you've taken it for a ride in 1998.
Well, I tell you what, if I'm responsible for it and the fans are coming out to watch it, I'm sure proud to be responsible for the game of baseball getting back on its feet, because I tell you what, I am damn proud of what I've accomplished, what I had to go through, and especially the support I've been getting here in St. Louis is absolutely incredible. And I thank St. Louis for everything.
Well, on behalf of St. Louis, on behalf of the baseball world, the sports world, and right now pretty much the country, I want to say thank you, Mark McGwire, and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Mark McGwire, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mark. This has been a magical night toward the end of a magical season. If you were to construct a home run hitter in a lab, put him together, he'd look like that, and he'd be that kind of person. He is genuinely someone that we can all look up to and realize that greatness is in our midst. This man tonight hit home run number 62 in the Cardinals' 145th game of the year. He is now the new single-season home run champion. He has 62 and counting, and the question now, how many before the end of 1998? Tonight's swing is worth another look.
Fly ball in the left. That ball carries to the track. Might leave the park. He did it. A grand slam. And it's 4-0. McGwire was number one.
Swing, and there it is. Look at this baby. Into the upper deck. Off the facade up there. Number 17. Wasn't any doubt about this one, going to the yellow line. Woo!
beautiful. Our heroes prove in liberating strife. More than self, their country love and mercy more than life. America, America, make God thy gold refine till all success be nobleness from sea to shining sea. Oh Lord, I thank you, Lord.
They can't say it anymore. 60.
Here it comes to McGwire. Swing. Look at there. Look at there. Home run, McGwire. What a moment. Pardon me while I stand up and applaud.
He went out there with a couple of goals in mind. The first was to win the ball game, and the second was to let Pete Harnish talk at a huge press conference about home run number 62.
It was 1 month and 1 day ago that Traxel went a third of an inning against the Cardinals. That was a game won 16-3 by the Redbirds. Today, though, the Cubs enjoy a 2-0 advantage. The 1-1 right on the outside corner. Traxel's got his A game so far tonight. Tatis ready. And the 1-2. Chase the high fastball. 4 Traxel strikeouts. And McGwire will stand in, and the umpires will load up with the special baseball. Again, each baseball is numbered sequentially. It also has an infrared or fluorescent marking that's only seen under a certain kind of light, so that if McGwire hits a home run, there's no doubt as to its authenticity.
You can bet that the folks will be standing up around the ballpark, but especially in left field, in the upper deck in Big Mac land, and all over the lower deck in left and left center field.
First pitch, rocket deep toward left. He did it! 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 Inside low!
Let's take another look at it as Mark McGwire hits a line drive rocket. And no fans will have this baseball. It just barely clears the wall. And he knows it's gone. And then he gets so excited he misses first base.
I truly believe in fate after what's happened this weekend. I dedicated this home run to the whole city of St. Louis and all the fans here. Thank you for all the support. It's unbelievable. All my family, everybody, my son, Chicago Cubs, Sammy Sosa, unbelievable. Clap. Thank you, St. Louis.
Jumps into the arms of his batting practice pitcher, Dave McKay, and then realizes he has to touch first base.
I have never cried at a ball game before until now.
What an absolutely awesome sight. When he went over to the Maris family and hugged them, went into the stands to recognize the fact that the record that stood for 37 years now has fallen. It belongs to him. It's truly one of the most miraculous evenings you could ever have at the ballpark. I'm just happy that you and I were here to see it live.
Well, we showed you before the game Babe Ruth's bat, Roger Maris's bat, and now the bat of Mark McGwire will be headed for Cooperstown as Stan the Man Musial, perhaps the most famous, most loved Cardinal in this illustrious history of the franchise, is watching a dawning of a new hero, not only for the city of St. Louis and the Cardinals, but for this game of ours as well, as Big Mac has made history here in the gateway city of St. Louis. 13 years after the passing of Roger Maris, he's hit his 62nd home run. He's dedicated the home run to the city of St. Louis and these great fans, and what an honor and privilege it has been to see it here tonight. And now it's Steve Traxel who moves into the baseball record book along with Mark McGwire, joining Tom Zachary, Tracy Stallard. And now Steve Traxel is giving up perhaps the most monumental home runs in baseball history. And don't forget Al Downing, too.
And bear in mind, Chip, this was game 144 for the Cardinals. And Roger Maris did it in his 163rd game, because they played an extra game that year. So McGwire has done it quicker than anybody in the history of this game.
And there was no intention of having a long interruption for this ball game. You knew it was going to happen should McGwire do it. And after this game is concluded, there will be a lengthy ceremony on the field, and we will carry it for you here from St. Louis. But an unbelievably emotional moment. And Jack Buck, the Hall of Famer, brought up a good point. Is that now the most famous home run in baseball?
I think you're looking at it because there are a lot of people that didn't know if that record would ever fall. It has fallen, and it has fallen right here on September 8th of 1998 in the Cardinal 144th game, and there is a very emotional Hall of Famer, Jack Buck.
That makes me want to cry. And everybody saluting McGwire. Traxel didn't want to serve up the home run, but McGwire hit a heck of a pitch.
is a moment for the ages here in St. Louis. And the one thing Steve Traxel has to do now is get back to business. The Cubs nursing a one-run lead. We're only in the fourth inning.
The game seems so horribly insignificant after that. But after a delay of, I guess, 10-15 minutes here in St. Louis, we're back to action. A two-out line drive homer by Mark McGwire. And now, what do you have to say about this? How many more will he hit before it's all said and done?
I figure 67, 68. And now Sammy is 4 back. And now he's really got something to shoot for.
1 ball, 1 strike.
But just remember, as difficult as it is, the Tom Hanks line. There's no crying in baseball.
Well, it's awesome. Glad to have been able to do it. Seeing Jack Buck do it. Seeing so many of these Cardinal fans do it. And now the other interesting note is so much has been made about who was going to catch the baseball. No one caught it. It lined over the fence by about an inch underneath the stands, and maybe a lucky usher will find it and hit the lottery. 1-2 to Langford. Swing and a miss, but St. Louis, folks, has seen more great history. Mark McGwire has hit number 62. One of the most incredible moments as McGwire becomes one of baseball's immortals here tonight. Chicago. Wow. I'm still in stunned disbelief. At 8:18 St. Louis time, Mark McGwire broke Roger Maris's record, and now Steve Traxel will be the Cub batter, and once he's announced, let's see what kind of reception he gets. As indeed, 9-8-9-8. Number 62. And Traxel with a line drive to left field. 2 on, 2 out. Now let's see if he says anything to Mark McGwire over at first base.
Mark just gives him a wink, and Steve acknowledges that wink. And that's that.
Hey, Steve, there's nothing wrong with that kind of record, man. That guy earned every single one of them. He hit a good pitch. You tip your cap in that situation and go about your business. As Johnson takes a strike.
He's hit 62 home runs, and he's hit them off 57 different pitchers.
How about that? So he spread the paint around a bit. Lance with a bouncing ball right side to Shields' gloves, grabs guns, throws him out. Inning over in the 6th. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. The Cubs, though, still have a 2-1 lead. The historic ball, we believe, with them. No, they don't have the ball. High drive, deep toward left. Hill's got a play at the edge of the track. He grabs this one, and Tatis is retired. And here comes Big Mac.
We'll take a look at the home run one more time, and it was a line drive rocket on the first pitch with 2 out in the 4th. A low fastball. McGwire has made a living on low fastballs. He drove it out of the ballpark. And there he is, missing first base, coming back, re-tagging it, and then Bedlam broke loose here in St. Louis.
Well, wouldn't it have been something if the Cubs appealed and they took it away? Oh, man. But he did go back and touch it, and now they're going to walk him intentionally. And the fans here in St. Louis boo that. But again, this is a game-breaking situation. You can't let the superstar beat you.
Well, I agree with this move. I mean, everybody is booing the move, but Jim Riggleman has to make this move.
So ball 3 sails outside. And let's welcome the member of the Cardinal ground crew who found that historic baseball, Tim Fourniers. Is that how you pronounce it? Fourniers. Well, tell me, where was the ball?
Actually, I don't know if they can see on the television screen, right where the Conoco sign is, where the second K, right when it hit off the bat, I figured, man, this is my only chance. If it hits the wall, no big deal. It's not my ball anyways. It went over the wall, and where the ground crew guys were sitting right there, I was sitting right where they are. I jumped down, I ran as fast as I could. I saw it inside, I locked on, and I grabbed it. Then I didn't know what to do with it, so I stuck it in my pocket, and you know how the streamers all went out? I went out and I picked up a few streamers, and my brother was also on the grounds crew. I said, Tino, what do I do with this ball? Because I don't know. So I ran it back through underneath the stands and brought it back to Mr. Bates.
What a moment that must have been. Everybody in baseball was wondering who would be the guy that caught the baseball. Nobody caught it. You just went and picked it up, huh?
I mean, it was just waiting. It was like a little lost puppy. I had to bring it home.
Well, you did bring it home, and did you present it to McGwire personally?
No, I didn't know what to do. I got ushered into the dugout, and I saw Mr. Bates, the equipment manager, and I was like, this is the man. He's the equipment manager. I handed it to him, and he went to get it authenticated.
Now, let me ask you. Do you need an agent? Because you could have probably gotten quite a pay raise for that baseball.
I guess, but you know, I don't need an agent. I'm just a regular guy. I don't need an agent.
And what do you think Mark McGwire's response is going to be when he meets you after the ball game?
You know, it's hard to say. I know Mark, he's the nicest guy in the world. To me, just to meet him and to actually, you know, shake his hand and maybe even say, well, how'd it feel, Mark? That's all I need. You know, it's all about experience. I don't need a ball. You know, this right here is unbelievable.
Well, the fact that you gave it back is the thing that's most impressive. Is, you know, we heard about what the ball is worth and who's going to pay what for it, but the fact is that he now has possession of the greatest souvenir you could possibly have, and the odds of you getting it were infinitesimal, and there it was sitting there waiting for you to arrive. And it's, as Mark has been prone to say from the beginning, he thinks this is all fated. I guess it was just fate that you're standing here with us tonight.
Well, the scary thing is all season I've been sitting out in left field, and it was one of those things that I told myself as McGwire inched closer and closer to the home run. I said, I'm going to sit out there, because if that ball does happen to land there, I'm getting it. I mean, at any means. I mean, my fellow co-workers, I'm sure they wanted it just as bad. But right when I saw that ball hit, I said, that is my ball. I'm going to run down as fast as I can. And I got my home run trot on, and I grabbed it.
Well, you and Big Mac had a home run trot tonight that none of us will ever forget, and you did the right thing. I'm proud of you. I know a lot of fans are as well.
I mean, to me, the way I look at it, I came to the ballpark tonight just wanting to see the home run. Now that I actually had the home run in my hand, I mean, you can't ask for anything more. Not many people are going to be able to touch that ball, and I could say I was the first one to touch it off the bat. And
by the way, was it flat on one side, just out of curiosity?
It looked like an egg, and I was afraid it was going to crack, but I figured I'd just stick it in my pocket anyway.
You did a great job. Thank you so much for visiting with us. Congratulations.
That's great.
And you'll never forget this night, neither will we.
God, I will never forget it.
All right. Outstanding. Tim Fourniers of the St. Louis Cardinal ground crew, who picked up the historic Mark McGwire home run ball here in St. Louis. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Ray Lankford. The pitch. Runners go. Pitch swung on, belted. Deep toward right center field. And the Cardinals have the lead.
Sometimes intentional walks work, and other times they don't. And Ray Lankford, with his 27th home run, now has driven home 94. More important than that, he's given the Cardinals a 3-run lead, and the wheels have come off the cart here in the 6th inning for Steve Traxler.
All the damage coming with 2 outs. The intentional walk, then the Lankford home run. And the Cubs now trailing 5-2. And now the story becoming Hollywood-like for the Cardinal fans. That's another guy who has faced an awful lot of pressure this year for the Cardinals. He's had to protect Big Mac. And Lankford's responded with a 27-homer, 94 RBI year. And folks, that is not easy to do what he has had to do all year, nor for Mark Grace.
Jerry Mulholland loosening up in the bullpen. You might remember he started just 2 short days ago, Sunday, he went into the 5th inning. But he told Jim Riggleman yesterday that he felt strong enough to pitch. So there he is on the mound, ready to come into this one.
A ball and a strike. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Well, I would imagine the folks in Cooperstown are going to be getting a Ryder truck full of memorabilia tonight. Ticket stubs, uniforms, the bases, the bats, the balls, the helmets, the hats. There's another rocket. Oh, baby, look at that ball sail out of here. No doubt about that one. And they may run out of fireworks at this rate.
Number 23, RBI number 58. Steve Trachsel has given up 22 home runs this year, and that looks to be it for Trachsel tonight.
So into the record books, into the shower, and out of the game for Trachsel. The Cardinals have scored 5 times in the 6th. And Terry Mulholland will stride into the ballgame. And thinking about prolonging the game. The pitch. A chopper toward third. Tatis, what a play, ballgame. The Cubs leave 13 men on base again in St. Louis. Eight of them in scoring position, and the Cardinals and Big Mac celebrate a 6-3 win. But of course the big story, that man Mark McGwire, who becomes one of baseball's immortals by hitting number 62. The post-game ceremonies will be forthcoming in just a few minutes here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And as you look in that Cub dugout, certainly everybody disappointed over the outcome of this ball game, but I know a lot of those guys feeling what an honor and privilege it was to be here. I know I feel that way, and I hope that a lot of the guys will be able to stick around and watch what we again may never see happen again.
Well, Chip, we knew coming in when we were sitting in Pittsburgh and Mark McGwire has hit his 60th home run. We looked ahead, we knew that we were coming right here, the showdown between Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. Would he be able to come through and hit numbers 61 and 62? He did it in consecutive games, and just a wonderful night for baseball.
Mark McGwire, friends and family, Cardinal ownership down on the field embracing. This game, of course, being beamed around the world. So many of you have emailed us tonight telling us where you're watching from. They're watching even in Moscow, Russia, early in the morning. Fox Television also carrying the game. There's Joe Buck, one of the radio voices of the Cardinals. He'll be emceeing the ceremonies down on the field in St. Louis. We'll hear from him. We'll hear from Mark McGwire.
And how about the class in which McGwire, who was being embraced by his parents, handled the Maris family in what had to be a very emotional and very difficult situation for the entire family of Roger Maris. They were here for both games. You had to know the conflicting emotions going through them, and Mark McGwire and his acknowledgement of the wonderful achievement of their father and their husband.
So Joe Buck down on the field with Mark McGwire. Let's head downstairs and enjoy this very special moment from Busch Stadium.
I know it's been difficult all year to describe what it's like for you to go through what you've been through. Can you describe the feeling of relief and how you feel right now after becoming the single-season home run champion?
I tell you what, I I was so shocked because I didn't think the ball had enough to get out. And when I saw the ball leave, I looked up and Dave McKay was in my way, and I sort of missed first base. I had to come back and touch it. And then, I don't remember anything after that. And then I come in and everybody's hugging me, and I lift up my son, and I'm hugging, and I go over and talk to the Marises, and I just I was numb. And then I said, I still got to play the game, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. But it's an absolutely incredible feeling. It's I can honestly say I did it.
I want to say in front of the world, it has been such a pleasure watching you conduct yourself on the field and off the field. This is the headline, unbelievable class. He's in a class of his own on the field, and why don't I welcome in his parents right now, John and Ginger McGwire. You two ought to be awfully proud of the young man that you helped put together and give to the world. John, first can you describe what you're feeling tonight?
Ginger and I are deliriously happy over Mark's accomplishment. I mean, it's just phenomenal what he's achieved this year, starting with spring training and setting his mind to accomplish this goal. It's beyond our wildest dreams to be here tonight. Last night, he hit the 61st on my 61st birthday. Tonight, he hit his 62nd for the people of St. Louis, as he said. What a class act.
A class act. And Mom, I know you don't like this, but just a quick word about Mark and how proud you are.
It's just an incredible moment in the history of baseball, and I'm just so very proud of my son.
Thank you. Love you guys.
I just seem so unreal. Do you want to pitch me?
Yes, it's real. Congratulations. And for you, my friend, you realize, and this is the last question, I'll let you go, you realize what you have done for the game of baseball, don't you? You flung this game on your back, and you've taken it for a ride in 1998.
Well, I tell you what, if I'm responsible for it and the fans are coming out to watch it, I'm sure proud to be responsible for the game of baseball getting back on its feet, because I tell you what, I am damn proud of what I've accomplished, what I had to go through, and especially the support I've been getting here in St. Louis is absolutely incredible. And I thank St. Louis for everything.
Well, on behalf of St. Louis, on behalf of the baseball world, the sports world, and right now pretty much the country, I want to say thank you, Mark McGwire, and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Mark McGwire, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mark. This has been a magical night toward the end of a magical season.
All right, Joe Buck, thank you, my colleague, and boy, what pride it is to be a part of baseball on a night like this, Steve Stone, and we're delighted as well to have our colleague Dan Roan from WGN Sports on hand here in St. Louis. And Danny, you've seen a lot of great moments in Chicago sports history. How about this one in St. Louis sports history?
It's true, Chip. I came to Chicago in 1984 when the Cubs, for the first time in 39 years, made it to the postseason. They beat the Pirates to win the National League East and went on to play the Padres in the National League Championship Series. Unfortunately, they were not able to win that, nor were they able to make it to the World Series in '89. But as we've been saying all weekend here in St. Louis, this really has been a World Series atmosphere in St. Louis, and maybe up a couple of degrees from that, especially for Cubs fans who've been watching this, because, as we say, they make the playoffs maybe 2 or 3 times in 50 years, but this is an occurrence that very, very rarely happens in Major League Baseball. A record that some people, I'm sure, thought would never be broken, and it was broken right here in St. Louis tonight on this weekend. 61 yesterday and 62 today. The line drive that just barely cleared the left field wall. There are souvenirs galore here in Busch Stadium, and people are making sure that they get a hold of every single one of them. The pitcher's mound is being dug up right now. Home plate is already gone, and just about everything else in the park is gone too. Right now we have Gary Gaetti with us, the Cubs third baseman, who just a short time ago was playing with Mark McGwire here in St. Louis for the Cardinals. And Gary, the game certainly didn't turn out the way you guys wanted it to, but I don't think you can argue about the moment.
It was pretty special. I mean, it's like last night. You expect it to happen, but when it does, you're like, you can't believe it, and then, it's a testament to the guy's power. That's a line drive. I hit the same ball at the short stump, But you know, it was pretty neat. It really was. I was surprised at the delay in the game, but, you know, it's too bad we didn't come back. We didn't, you know, I mean, Steve was pitching good. You know, just kind of, you know, that's the way it goes. We'll all get to remember it forever.
There were a couple of other things that led to Steve's demise there, the balk, and I think he got a little bit rattled by that. But did you think Mark's ball was going out when it went over your head?
No, I did not. I don't think anybody really did. It was a low line drive, you know, and you know he got about 2 feet over the fence. So I mean, and that would have changed the game too. If it stays in the ballpark, you never know. I mean, 1 run means a lot in games like this, and you know, I mean, we played till the end, and we just couldn't hold them down.
Well, the Cub fans watching our telecast tonight have admired Mark McGwire from afar, no question about that. What kind of a guy is he to play with?
A real decent guy. He's a team player. I know he at times feels even embarrassed that he gets so much attention because, you know, I mean, he may hit a home run, the team loses. You know, he's not real happy about that, you know. So he's a team player and an all-around good guy. Yeah, here we go. I was going to let him run on by, just salute him, you know, and he was like, you know, that's what kind of guy he is, you know. He was wanting to give everybody a high five and a hug, and, you know, I was just going to salute the guy and let him go on by. And yeah, he was just so special, you know. Look, I mean, what can you say?
You know, he missed first base on the way. Did you see that? Now, what would you have done if he'd missed third? Would you have called him on it?
I don't think that was going to happen, but it was good. That was a good moment.
Awesome. You know, I know that you had not only playing for the Cardinals, but you probably grew up a Cardinal fan. I saw your mom and dad earlier tonight up in the concourse, and they, of course, your dad's wearing his Centralia Orphans hat, so, you know, they're Southern Illinois and Central Missouri people, and there's no question that they enjoyed this too, although I'm sure they wanted you guys to win.
Well, I think so too. They're team players too, you know, so whatever uniform I'm wearing is what they want to win. But yeah, I grew up a Cardinal fan. You know, this is special, just like Wrigley is special. I mean, it's 2 of the best baseball towns in America. I think the fans here in St. Louis deserve to see this. You know, at home, the way they've been all year, and I guess the second base place for it to happen would have been Wrigley, but that wasn't the case.
It worked out perfectly. Now, I know it's been a terrible distraction for you guys, all that's gone on around here this weekend. You can get back to Chicago now. The Pirates are in town, maybe watching this on TV right now, and you guys can get back and get your heads glued back onto the matters that are at hand.
I really think the guys are all right. We lost a couple tough ball games here. We had a lot of chances to score runs. We're just going to have to go home and get healthy. I think the guys are all right. We're going to be okay. We are.
Hope that home cooking works out for you, Gary. Hey, thanks for coming out. We appreciate it. Cubs third baseman Gary Gaetti joining us down here on the field. Mark McGwire will soon be in the interview room down underneath Busch Stadium. We'll be carrying that for you, let you listen to that as well. And then as soon as that's over with, Mark will be back out on the field. You can see they're setting up for the celebration, the ceremony here just outside second base, and you'll see that tonight on WGN as well. But right now, let's go back up to the broadcast booth. Chip Carey and Steve Stone.
Okay, Danny, thanks a lot as always. A great job. We're so happy that you were able to be a part of this very special night so far here in St. Louis. And as we've said a couple of times, I don't know about you, partner, but I'm exhausted, man. This has been an emotional roller coaster and just a great, great night.
Well, it's been 2 great days here in St. Louis, and I think the one thing that remains to me one of the unique aspects of this entire accomplishment is that the 2 combatants both started their careers in the American League. Mark McGwire in the green of the Oakland Athletics, Sammy Sosa with the Texas Rangers, then the Chicago White Sox. They both find their way over into the National League to 2 teams that have a storied and a very heated rivalry, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. And yet, this particular chase, not only for the number 62, but of a home run title that it's still yet to be determined.
That's right.
Comes down to Sammy Sosa for the Cubs in blue, Mark McGwire for the Cardinals in red, culminating right here in St. Louis in what for us will be a game that neither of us will ever forget.
And Stoney, Mark McGwire is in the interview now, answering questions from the media. Let's join his press conference live.
I mean, it's I've been talking about this since January, and I get to 61. It's 1 swing away, and then next thing you know, I hit a ball that that all of a sudden just disappeared on me. And I tell you what, I totally believe in fate, and I believe that's what happened this week. And thank the man upstairs.
Would you tell us what happened in the turn on first?
Turn on first. Well, when I hit the ball, I saw it was on a line drive, and I thought I was going to hit the wall, and next thing you know, it disappeared, and I looked up, and Dave McKay was jumping up, and I sort of like missed one big thing, touch first base. So I had to go back and touch it. And honestly, to tell you, that's the first time that, well, at least I think I missed it. The first time I ever had to do that. So, but I'll tell you what, I'll always remember that, and it was a sweet run around the bases.
Rex, go ahead.
Hey, Rex.
Do you have any idea how you have impacted the game?
I think so right now. I believe, yeah. I tell you what, it's the whole country has been involved in this. I think since after the All-Star break, and it's just people have been saying it's bringing the country together. So be it. I'm happy to bring the country together.
Claire? How does it feel sitting there with your bat next to Roger Maris's bat?
Well, as I went over to the box and talked to Roger's kids, I told them today when I met with the Hall of Fame, they pulled out Roger's bat that when he hit his 61st home run, and I touched it. And I touched it with my heart. Now I can honestly say that my bat will lie next to his, and I'm damn proud of it.
Okay, here. What is your next goal?
My next goal? Sleep.
What was it like rounding the bases, Gaetti hugging you, Sammy hugging you, and then meeting the Maris family again?
I honestly have to tell you that I really have to see the tape because I really don't remember it. And I was trying to imagine what it was going to feel like doing that, and I was sort of telling myself I think I'll be floating. I sure in the heck was floating. I have to look at the tape, but I just remember briefly shaking some of the players' hands and signaling to the dugout in the Cubs, and then after that I just hope I didn't act foolish, but I mean this is history, so can I say one thing? I talked to a good friend of mine today, Jim Corsi. So everybody in Boston, Jim Corsi does know me, and thanks for giving me that hug over the phone today, Jim.
Connor?
Hey, I told you I was going to talk to you after the game today. Thank you.
How are you going to celebrate tonight?
Well, I hope there's a lot of champagne on that flight to Cincinnati. So, I think everybody's going to be drinking except for the pilots.
George?
Mark, what does it mean to do it so fast? 145th game, so fast, go way ahead of anybody.
What does it mean to do it so fast in the 145th game?
Was it that quick? I didn't. It's been awesome. It's been awesome. I mean, I tell you what, the last week and a half, my stomach's been turning, my heart's been beating a million miles a minute. It's to do it that fast. I don't know. I just give thanks to the man upstairs and all of them. Roger Maris, Babe Ruth, everybody's watching up there. But it's what a feat. I tell you what.
Mel? In your wildest dream, did you ever imagine to break the record this quickly?
Not even a chance. I mean, I truly believe that if somebody got to 50 by September, they had an honest shot at doing it, and I got to it pretty quickly.
Over here.
Yeah.
When you took the microphone after hitting the home run, you dedicated it to the people in St. Louis. Talk about how special it was to hit it here.
Well, I tell you what, after yesterday doing what I did for my father and my son showing up just in time, I said what a perfect way to end the week by the last game in the homestand. It hit in the 62nd for the city of St. Louis and all the great fans. You know, I had a couple milestones this year, hitting my 400th and 50th on the road, and I really, truly wanted to do it here. I really, truly wanted to do it here, guys, and I did it. Thank you, St. Louis.
What do you have to say to the Oakland A fans? And when you think about where you were in 93 and 94 and you've been healthy all this year, what do you have to say?
Well, I tell you what, I have to thank everybody in the Bay Area for all the support they gave me. I started there. They've been through rocky times with me, through my injuries, through my down year of hitting 201. They were behind me. And I truly believe the times that I was down with the injuries, I truly believe was for a reason. And I think this is the reason I'm sitting here talking to all you guys. So,
Joel? You've carried this with you since the winter, talking about it all year. Do you feel like a big weight has been lifted off your shoulders?
Yeah, I don't know how heavy the arch is, but the arch is off my back now.
Bill? What message beyond baseball does this accomplishment send to the country?
I just think it's put baseball back on the map as the sport. It's America's pastime. And, I mean, you just look at everybody coming out to the ballparks, and you look at all the great players in the game of baseball, and it's been an exciting year. It's not over, and it's a great, great sign.
Steve? Were you aware of how this whole process has evolved you as a person?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it has. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to sit here and talk about it, but, yeah.
Bud?
We can talk later about that. Yeah. Who's that? Oh, there you are.
Would you talk about going into the stands and seeing the Maris family?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, like I said, today when I touched and held Roger's bat that he hit his 61st, and I just put it against my heart, and that's the first thing that came to my mind when I ran over there. And I told all four of them, and it was just...
Okay, one last question. Mark's obviously in demand.
It was an unbelievable feeling.
Here.
Make it remember their father's accomplishment. How will your son, years from now, look back on that?
You've seen how the Maris children have remembered their father's accomplishment. How will your son remember your accomplishment today?
Well, I hope someday that my son grows up, becomes a baseball player, and breaks us.
Okay, Connor, one last one, then we got to let him go. Have you gotten the ball yet?
No, I haven't. No, whoever came on the field and gave me that ball, it wasn't the ball. So it said official league. It didn't say National League, so I said, here, take it back. So it wasn't the ball, so I haven't seen it yet.
Mark, would you hold up both bats for a photo opportunity, and then we'll let you go. What number will it say at the Hall of Fame?
Well, what number will say in the Hall of Fame is, I guess, we'll find out September 27th.
What about the bat?
Yes.
Way to go back.
Well, he sure looks like a modern-day Paul Bunyan with those two big sticks on his shoulders, Stoney. Mark McGwire, the crowd chanting, "We want Mark." The ceremonies on the field are now going to get underway here in the next couple of minutes. And this was the call as Mark McGwire, with the first pitch thrown him in the fourth inning, made baseball history.
To left center field.
First pitch, rocket deep toward left. He did it! 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 In St. Louis!
I had a feeling by listening to your call that he did it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those deals, man. You don't know what's going to come out until it does, and what a moment. Boy, what a thrill for me, and I was glad to have you alongside as well to witness the history of Mark McGwire. And now that he's answered the questions from the assembled members of the press, the crowd outside St. Louis, not many have headed for home. They're chanting, "We want Mark, we want Mark," and they're going to get him as there's a big, big ceremony planned on the field now.
Well, looking around toward the stands and realizing that close to 50,000 people here tonight, and very few have gone home. There's a sea of red as the Cardinal faithful wore their colors here tonight, and just about everyone who was in attendance is still here, waiting for Mark McGwire to come out from under the stands where he just met the press and get to that platform hastily erected on second base, and then I guess pay homage to him and for all that he's meant to the city and for all that he's meant to baseball. And what a job Mark McGwire has done through all of what you'd have to believe, Chip, was just immense pressure on a daily basis.
Yeah, talking with Tony La Russa before this series even started, what Tony had said to me was what made this feat so incredible for him is the fact that from day one of spring training, two men in baseball were expected to approach 60 home runs this year. Ken Griffey Jr. of the Seattle Mariners and Mark McGwire of the St. Louis Cardinals. And Tony told me that from day one of spring training, Mark McGwire was an awesome, a devastating home run hitter. From day one of spring training and from day one of the season, he started hitting home runs and never stopped hitting home runs, and probably won't stop hitting them now that he's got 62.
And you have to believe that that was pretty spontaneous on the part of Sammy Sosa, who was in right field, and as all of the celebration was taking place here, Sammy kept getting a little closer and a little closer toward the infield, and then you just saw what happened. He went over to Mark McGwire, and they hugged, and a great exchange down there. But Sammy, obviously knowing how difficult it is to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and nobody could know more than Sammy, just acknowledging the great accomplishment.
So Jack Buck, the Hall of Fame voice now of the St. Louis Cardinals, ready to kick off what should be a raucous ceremony behind second base.
How do you like this dream we're all dreaming? Isn't it beautiful? What a great day for all of us. Thanks to one man, one extraordinary person, one marvelous athlete, one wonderful guy who has us all in love with him. This is a great evening for Cardinals and all of baseball. Now let's greet our Major League Baseball's new single-season home run leader, Mr. Mark McGwire. Here to make a special presentation to the new single-season home run leader and the biggest name in baseball today, Mark McGwire, is the Commissioner of Baseball, Mr. Bud Selig. Commissioner, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Jack. It is indeed a privilege and an honor to be here on clearly one of the most historic nights in baseball history. I would first like to introduce the President of the National League, Mr. Len Coleman. Next, I would like to introduce two people who all of you are familiar. This is clearly one of the proudest and most successful franchises in baseball history. What happened here tonight is a fitting tribute to all of you who have made this the crown jewel of baseball franchises. First, Hall of Famer, a man who broke many records himself, ladies and gentlemen, Lou Brock. The next man, I've been thinking all night how to introduce him. There's only one way. The man, Stan Musial. And now, with great honor, I'd like to introduce some special guests. They have conducted themselves with grace and dignity. The Maris family and their children. I would like to introduce them individually, the Maris children, Susan, Sandra, Randy, Kevin, Richard, and Roger Jr. Mrs. Maris couldn't be with us tonight, but all of us send our very best wishes and a thank you for her graciousness. On behalf of everyone in Major League Baseball, I want to thank both Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa for providing us with a home run chase that has captivated sports fans around the world. You have made this a summer that generations will remember. To acknowledge Mark for breaking the 37-year-old single-season home run record set by the great Roger Maris, I am honored to present Mark the Commissioner's Historic Achievement Award. Mark is the first recipient of this award, and it is only fitting that it is being presented to the player who has broken baseball's most important individual record. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you, Commissioner Seelig. It goes without saying that Tony La Russa, the Cardinal coaches, and Mark's teammates have certainly enjoyed this chase this summer. And here with a special presentation from the Cardinal players is Cardinal catcher Tom Lampkin.
Well, first of all, we just like to thank the fans that came out and supported us through all the ups and downs that we've had this season. When Mark said in a press conference a few days ago that we had the best fans here in St. Louis, believe me, I've been all over the country, and he wasn't lying. On behalf of the players, the coaches, the staff, we'd like to congratulate Mark on this unbelievable, remarkable feat and thank him for letting us be a part of it. We have a lineup card with everybody's signature on it as our way of saying thanks for the lifetime of memories. We won't forget these as long as we live. Thank you.
One more speaker, one more gift, and then you'll hear from the man of the moment. Here with a special gift from the Cardinals, on behalf of you great fans who have thrilled to the exploits all season, is the Cardinals chairman of the board and the general partner, Mr. Bill DeWitt, Jr.
Thanks, Jack. On behalf of the St. Louis Cardinals and baseball's greatest fans, congratulations, Mark, for accomplishing one of the greatest feats in the history of sports. Your majestic home runs have captivated the nation, and we join baseball's all-time greats as a member of the Cardinals, a 106-year-old storied franchise for which this is clearly a defining moment. And in front of Hall of Famers who saw you today, Lou Brock, Stan Musial, Jack Buck, Red Shandy, and at home, Bob Gibson and Enos Slaughter. Your quest for Babe Ruth and Roger Maris has been marked with respect and grace and a wonderful style. We salute you, we congratulate you, and most of all, we thank you. And it goes without saying that one day, number 25 will be parked right up there. Now, as a small memento on this historic occasion, for all that you have done for us and the Cardinal community, please look to the right field wagon gate. A classic car for a classic slugger and true American hero. A 62 Cardinal Red Corvette for 62 Homerun.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you feast your eyes on that lovely gift, I want to bring a member of the Cardinal ground crew to the microphone and to the stage. And the reason why is that Mr. Tim Farnaris, a member of the Cardinal ground crew, ended up with the baseball that was hit for home run number 62, and he wants to present it to Mark McGwire.
Mr. McGwire, I think I have something that belongs to you.
I was going to tell you to sit down so we could get up and give him a standing ovation. But you're already on your feet. And the reason you are on your feet is because of this man, number 25, Mark McGwire.
Let's see, where do I start? Well, first of all, thank all the owners here in St. Louis for bringing me over here. in that beautiful car right there. I'd like to thank all my teammates for putting up with all the media for the last couple of months, and really putting up with me. And this belongs to you as well as it belongs to me, and I thank every one of you. To all the Marises, for being so kind, supportive, and understanding the true feeling that their father is in my heart. And when I touched his bat tonight before the game, I knew tonight was going to be the night. And I can honestly now say I can rest my bat alongside Roger Maris's bat in the Hall of Fame, and I'm damn proud of it. To all my family, to my great ex-wife, her husband, to get my son here on time yesterday. Now you're a rock. I guess finally, to end this night is historical, and when I drove to the ballpark today, I honestly and truly wanted to hit it for the city. You guys have never made me feel more welcome coming here last year. I remember my first at bat, standing ovation, and I'll remember my last one a few years down the line. But I'll tell you what, the best fans in America, the best fans in baseball, thank you. Let's enjoy the night.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for our ball club which is playing very well, it's off to Cincinnati and Houston, so those fans can cheer Mark McGwire and the Cardinals. And let's hear it one more time to cap off this wonderful evening for Mark McGwire, the new single-season home run king. Our favorite number is 62. Nice going, Mark.
McGwire will take a final victory lap, or so it appears, around Busch Stadium. You know, these people have to work tomorrow, but hardly anyone has left the ballpark. That's what kind of a city St. Louis is, a blue-collar city. And that's why they have taken this man, this 34-year-old Mark McGwire, so much to their soul. A sport that desperately needed a moment like this. Baseball has pitched a perfect game tonight as Mark McGwire breaks what Commissioner Bud Selig called
baseball's most important individual record. Mark driving right past us in the 62 Corvette. Way to go, big man. Congratulations. And an honor for me, I have to tell you, to be able to shake his hand as he drove past. We finally used up our supply of goosebumps for the night? Maybe not. Let's one more time take a look at the home run that vaulted Mark McGwire alone atop the all-time single-season home run record book. Don't forget to touch first base there, Mark. That must have set an all-time Major League Baseball record for the longest tour around the base. Now the final fireworks salute. So as Mark heads off to the wagon gate out in right field, we'll finally head for the clubhouse and get a shower after what's been an emotionally draining night, I'm sure, for him. This crowd will finally begin to filter out of Busch Stadium into the streets of St. Louis for what is certain to be a night of celebrating. You don't see moments like this very often, folks, and these people are ecstatic at having been here tonight as Mark McGwire hits his 62nd home run. For his part, Mark's son Matt was here, his father John, his mother Ginger, his former wife, those members of his immediate family, but certainly his extended family numbers way, way up in the thousands here in St. Louis and across the world tonight. Hundreds of media credentials for this event from all over the world. We had a chance to stand next to a television crew from Japan when Mark batted for the first time tonight. The camera operator was so nervous he could barely turn his equipment on. So many terrific pictures from this evening. Ones that will always stand out will be Mark and his son Matt embracing at home plate. And certainly for Cub fans, the ultra-classy move by Sammy Sosa, who for a long time didn't look like he knew exactly what he wanted to do to congratulate Mark McGwire. And finally, Sammy jogged in from right field as the mini celebration was in progress outside the Cardinal dugout. And certainly in what was a spontaneous show of congratulations and emotion on Sammy's part, got to the dugout, part of the crowd in front of Mark, and was able to make his way over there and embrace his arch rival here in St. Louis. And here's a look at that. What a moment. What a moment. Sammy's got that little bash move down.
Cub fans to forget that even though Mark has hit 62 first, that doesn't mean the race is over by any means. Sammy stuck on 58, but only 4 behind McGwire. And coming home to start a 2-game series against the Pirates tomorrow at Wrigley Field, a game you'll see at 1 o'clock right here on WGN. Mark's taking another victory lap. So a spine-tingling September evening in St. Louis begins to wind down. There were 50,000 people here tonight, or 13 people short of 50,000. That's in the ballpark, and many thousand more outside. That's where WGN's Rich King was, taking in the scene outside the ballpark when Mark McGwire's 62nd flew out of the yard. And here's Rich live outside the park with more on that story. Rich?
Well, Dan, it is bedlam out here. A lot of fans celebrating Mark McGwire's 62nd home run. And I'll tell you, it's been like this all night long. We were out here moments after the home run after he hit it. I was in the press box and saw it on WGN radio. Raced out to introduce some fans, and it's been sheer bedlam out here. But let's talk about the baseball, first of all. You know, a lot of talk about the $1 million ball. Remember all the auctioneers and everything? Well, it turns out, as you mentioned earlier, Tim Fournier's a ground crew member of the St. Louis Cardinals, got that baseball, and WGN TV had a chance to talk to him. Chip Carey and Steve Stone on the air about that great moment getting that 62nd home run baseball over the left field fence.
Right where the Conoco sign is, where the second K, right when it hit off the bat, I figured, man, this is my only chance. If it hits the wall, no big deal. It's not my ball anyways. It went over the wall, and where the ground crew guys are sitting right there, I was sitting right where they are. I jumped down, I ran as fast as I could. I saw it inside, I locked on, and I grabbed it. Then I didn't know what to do with it, so I stuck it in my pocket, and you know how the streamers all went out? I went out and I picked up a few streamers, and my brother was also on the grounds crew. I said, Tino, what do I do with this ball? Because I don't know. So I ran it back through underneath the stands and brought it back to Mr. Bates.
What a moment that must have been. Everybody in baseball was wondering who would be the guy that caught the baseball. Nobody caught it. You just went and picked it up, huh?
I mean, it was just waiting. It was like a little lost puppy. I had to bring it home.
And so no $1 million baseball for anybody as the St. Louis Cardinals get that ball back. Now, one more thing. That ball was a line drive in the left field that cleared the wall. There were some fans out there in a private box area that almost had a chance to get it a few more feet higher, and they get that baseball. I went out there earlier in that private box, talking to some of the guys who came within feet away of getting $1 million baseball.
Ball went up in the air. It was coming down. I didn't know if it was going to get here. I thought he was actually going to catch it at the wall. And it just happened to carry right on.
Who got the ball?
Actually, I don't think anybody did. I think it went through the wall. The ball was coming in, and I was trying to grab something. I was hoping that they grab onto my ankle. Get the ball. I mean, I was going for it. Anything, get that ball. Anything. I just wanted that ball. I wanted it bad. That ball was coming straight toward us. The ball dropped about 5 feet below us. Greatest moment I ever had for my life.
Close to $1 million.
Yep, $1 million ball right through our fingertips, pretty much.
Okay, so that's it. Some fans have almost caught the baseball. Fans yelling 62 here. Mark McGwire night in St. Louis. Let's go back to WGN Studios in Chicago. And Steve and Allison. It's all yours back in Chicago. It's 10 o'clock.
All right, thank you, Rich. What a night. Well, back here in Chicago, baseball fans are cheering for a man who has eclipsed a record that has shone brightly for years.
And the cheers are no less faint because the slugger made history against our beloved Cubs. WGN's Jackie Bang is live in Wrigleyville tonight. She has fan reaction to Mark McGwire's historic night. Jackie.
Well, hi, Allison and Steve. You know, I was a little surprised because I really expected a crowd of people at all the favorite watering holes here in Wrigley Field, but it wasn't really that busy. I guess Tuesday night is a work night, and that was most important, but there were a few people at some of the bars around here, and there was nothing but cheers for Mark McGwire. Murphy's Bleachers is just about 30 feet from the backside of Wrigley Field. After home games, this place is packed. Away games, it's almost quiet. First inning, Sosa hits a single. Only the bartender claps.
Well, that's good enough for a single, you know. It doesn't take a lot to do that.
High expectations for Sammy.
Well, Sammy's waiting until he comes home, I think.
Hope for a Sosa record breaker is put on hold. In the heart of Cubs country, fans are rooting for McGwire. Just one more.
If you've noticed, most of the home runs have come in the very first inning, or within the first 2 innings, shall we say.
You were close, Jim. First pitch, 4th inning, number 62.
I think it's great. He got to do it against the Cubs, which I'm a Cubs fan. What do you think of those two?
I think it's great. It's great for baseball. Those two with the relationship they built this year, and it's done wonders for baseball.
And the same sentiments can be found down the block at Bernie's, about 100 feet from Wrigley's left field.
Couldn't have happened to a better guy. Probably hit another 2 today before it's over.
If it wasn't for Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, the fans would never get over the strike season.
No, I didn't think it was going out at all. I really thought it was going to be a foul ball. I wish it was Albert Bell instead, though.
No, wrong. Albert Bell with the White Sox? Well, that's another story, I suppose. But generally, everybody's looking forward for Sammy Sosa to come home so he can hit a couple of home runs from here. But it was nice to hear everybody say basically the same thing, that this has just been so good for the sport of baseball. It's been a downer since the strike, and now everybody's interested once again in baseball. This is Jackie Bang reporting live from Wrigleyville. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Jackie. And who knows, Sammy might just pass up McGwire before this is over.
Oh, we hope so. We'll be back live with Dan Rowan at Busch Stadium with even more on tonight's historic night of baseball. And be sure to stay with WGN News for the latest on Sammy's reach for the record in the morning.